Rachie Shnay, welcome to Jewish Money Matters. I'm so
Hello.
happy that we get to do this. We've been looking forward to this for a while. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here
It
finally.
really is so fun. Rachie, you are famous for the Mazel Collection. Yes, there it is, everybody. As part of your jewelry brand, Rachie Shnay, which you started only in 2019. We're going to talk about that because that's a pretty short timeline there. We just saw Montana Tucker walking the Golden Globes, not just with the beautiful Bring Them Home Now yellow ribbon, but she was gemmed with the Mazel Collection pieces, and she's not the only one. The brand has been embraced by so many influencers, the ladies we love and adore: Deborah Messing, Lisi Savetsky, Noah Tishby. I mean, all the big names that we love. And you're also the co-founder of the Healers Collection. Here's my Healers bracelets. Yay. A jewelry and wellness brand alongside our mutual friend Joyce Azria and Sarit Share. So I really want to start, Rachie, with the entrepreneurial journey because, like I said, a lot has happened in less than 5 years. It's a very short timeline. What led you to the jewelry business? Was this something that was always on your mind?
No, actually, I never thought I'd be in the jewelry business. My mom had a jewelry business when I was growing up. And I went to college for OT. I got into Columbia Occupational Therapy School. And I was there for 2 weeks and then decided that I was like, I'm a classic middle child. I was just like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I don't want to do this anymore. So then I
Mm-hmm.
actually pivoted completely, left Columbia and went to culinary school for baking, for professional cake decorating. And
What?
I started a kosher baking business. So I was making cakes every week from my parents' kitchen. It was crazy. And then so that became like a business very quickly. And then at the same time, I started teaching just for fun. I wanted to teach like Torah and Hebrew to kids that didn't go to Jewish school. So I would teach them after school. I would go there like an at-home Hebrew school program, and I would teach them Torah, mitzvahs, parsha, like all that stuff. And that also became a business. So very quickly, I had like 15 students a week that I would go to in the afternoons, and I was baking in the day. It's
And
pretty
you're what,
crazy.
like 19, 20 at that
No,
point?
I was like, yeah, I was like mid 20s probably, or
Okay.
low
Okay.
20s. And then yeah, kind of was doing that and keeping myself very busy with those things. And then I was gonna maybe do social work. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do for the long run. And I ended up just getting my master's in Jewish education because I was teaching and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get my master's at night. So I went to get my master's um at YU, and I feel like I was kind of just not, it's not really what I thought I was going to do, was be a teacher, but it kind of fell in my lap. And then I was maybe like, should I open an actual bakery? It was getting to a point where I had to like kind of decide, like, do I want to really expand, or what am I going to do with my life? And then my sister and I kind of came up with, because people are always buying jewelry off of us, because my mom was a jeweler, we kind of came up with this, like, let's do the Warby Parker approach to jewelry and have fine jewelry that's more affordable and more accessible and lower margins. And we always knew the cost of jewelry because we were in the industry, and we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe how some of these retailers were like charging astronomical prices when we knew how much it costs. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
good, great for them. Like that's amazing that they're making that much money. But we were just like, you know what? Let's just make it like more affordable. So we wanted to do like fine jewelry for under $1,000. That's how it started. But right before we were going to launch our company, she ended up taking another job. She got a job offer somewhere else. So I ended up changing the name of the company to Rachie Shnay. That wasn't the original name right before I
Oh.
launched. I launched my website, launched everything. And that's kind of how it happened. It's been quite the ride.
Quite all
And then
right.
since then, I'm doing other companies too, and it's kind of never ending. So it's fun.
So wait, I have to unpack a few
I
things
know
here.
it's a
So
lot. It's a lot.
it sounds like the entrepreneurial bug was in your
Oh
system
yeah.
from early on. So this whole thing about being an OT or
I was
being
always looking for a way to make money since I was
yeah,
younger. Like
yeah.
I would sell my textbooks. I was just talking to my parents about this. There was a website called It was like the eBay for books.
Yes, I remember it
You
well.
remember that?
Yes, I do. And I can't remember
I can't
the
remember the name
name, but
either.
I remember being at NYU and like buying books. Yes, yes, yes.
And
Even when I was at
and I would
Tufts. Yes.
sell all the textbooks that I would find around my house, and like any book I could find, I would sell. And I'd be like constantly going to the post office, like shipping books. So I like my parents remind me of that. And I was always doing anything. Like I was very entrepreneurial. Like I always wanted to like do business. I definitely got it from my grandfather, who was exactly like that. My
Uh-huh.
mom's father, he was such a legend and like such a incredible businessman. And he was always doing so many different businesses with like products that he didn't even know from, but like just saw an opportunity and just would do it. He did every business under the sun. And he also like he was a Holocaust survivor. He was an Auschwitz
I was
survivor.
gonna ask, was he the
Yeah.
one who
And
survived?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he just like had such, but obviously never went to school, which is crazy, never knew from that. And it was just amazing to watch him. Like it was incredible, incredible, incredible to watch him. And he was so good with numbers.
Hmm.
And he was working until like he was 90,
Wow.
so and I feel like I have that, and Joyce and I talk about this a lot because we're similar in that way, where we both have split brains of half numbers business and then half very creative and like always thinking and wanting to like micromanage the creative part. So it's hard when you have both of those, because usually
Yes.
somebody's like, all right, like I want to do business, so I'm going to go into something with finance, but oh, I want to do more artsy stuff, so I'm going to go like, but like I'm really into both of them, so it's
Yeah.
constantly, it's a great thing. I'm not saying it's a bracha, but it's also kind of this like, my days are filled with like, what do I focus on? I need to do both. I don't know what to do more. I'm like always like, like let me look at the
Rachie,
numbers, but let me look at the art, and let
I
me look at
know.
the design, and let me look at, so it's fun how when you are like a CEO and you're running your own companies, you it's an interesting battle in your own brain.
So I want to ask you, but was your mother enthusiastic about the fact that you were also going into jewelry, for example, or was she
Yes,
like,
she always was saying how she wished that she wanted us to start something so she could work with us.
oh,
And
that's so
she was
nice. And
excited about it, but what she did is completely different than what I do. So she's an incredible saleswoman. So she actually comes when I have like showroom days, and she's really good at styling people. So she styles everyone. She totally takes over, helps them pick things out. So that's like her specialty. But in terms of like the everyday stuff, it's not really, there's a lot of like, people don't realize like, oh, diamonds. Yeah, that's so fun. It's fun when you're looking at it for like a minute, but that's not the business. It's not just looking at diamonds, there's so
really?
much that goes behind any business that people don't see the day-to-day grind that is not fun. So
Yeah, yeah. And now from that story, because one of the things that I so admire about you, and it's not just me, this is across the board, I'm sure, is that you have such your love of, from the story. Now I start understanding the pieces and this love of Judaism that you have, Rachie, that it comes across so strongly in your collections, in your work. Because honestly, not everybody sets up their career or their businesses to be so reflective of their identity, their Jewish identity, and yet you did. And that seems to come also from the legacy of your family, right?
yeah, for sure. I knew when I launched my company that I needed to have the Mazel collection. Like I didn't care, you
Was
know,
that the starting point, like the starting
yes,
idea?
yes, I knew that I wanted the Mazel ring. So that was a big, 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 like that was the first day that I launched, September 24th, 2019. I launched the Mazel ring. There was a few other Mazel pieces there too, but the Mazel ring was the focus. And
Wow.
I was like, and it has I knew I wanted to have Am Yisrael Chai. A lot of times people will engrave on the inside of a piece of jewelry, and I said I wanted to make sure that it was on the outside, so that so it's here some Mazel ring.
Oh, they're so beautiful. I need to get one.
Yeah. And they all say Am Yisrael Chai in the back. So I'm like, I wanted it to
Oh,
have
there
the
you go.
engraving
I
on the
see.
outside so that people could see it. And also you
Hmm.
can also look down and just look at it all the time. So that was very important to me. If you look on my website, there's a whole section about me, about the Mazel collection, and it talks about how being a grandchild of survivors, it was so, so important for me. I was so mission driven to make sure that the Nazis took the symbol of the Magen David away from us and made it something that we should be ashamed of. And I wanted to make sure that we would never be ashamed to wear it. Women all over the world and men, because I just came out with the men's line.
Yes, I saw
that they will be so proud and so excited to put on their Magen Davids every day. And, when people have a certain amount of money that they allocate to spend on a piece of jewelry, that we actually, that we create something so special that they're going to actually choose to be like, okay, I have $1,000 or whatever it is to spend right now. I want to buy a Magen David, and as opposed to anything else that they can, because they could pick anything. It's really very special. And the fact that it's like, it's a heritage piece that they can buy it for their daughters and granddaughters and sisters and friends and pass it on to their granddaughters. I love, like, some of my favorite pieces are like vintage pieces from my grandmother. She has like Magen David and menorah stuff from Israel from like the 1950s. And it's just so special to have that, or not even from Argentina, like all these other places. Like, it's so cool to have these pieces that transcend time. They didn't, like, they never go out of style,
Yeah.
when they have a Jewish symbol on them. But I couldn't find on the market a go-to place that had Jewish themed jewelry that is just so cool and fun. And like, I would want all of it. It was always I have a good eye for certain things, and I would be walking around Israel or wherever, New York, Miami, and I would see things and I'm like, oh, not my style, like,
right.
a little too cheesy for me, a little this, like, So I'm like, you know what? And everyone, there's something for everyone. Just because it looks cheesy to me doesn't mean it's gorgeous for someone else.
No, but I hear you. There definitely was a void in the market.
It was, like, and every single woman that I meet who's part of the Mazel Club is like, says the same thing. Like, everything that they found was a little, maybe too, just not their style. And it's just very nice to have like a go-to place.
There's an elegance and a sophistication to your pieces that is definitely, it wows us. Yeah.
Like, I never saw a hand chain with a Magen David, which I did, and a signet pinky ring with chai, and like hoops like this, and a choker, like all this fun stuff that like, I was just so excited to create and make it cool. So
beautiful. It's so beautiful. It makes us really so proud. And so I hear that there, even from a young age, there was this appetite for, or this tolerance for risk taking, because not everybody in their early 20s, tries different things and then settles on, I'm going to do something with jewelry, and I'm going to fill a void that's not there. Some people might resist that, and you went all in. You could say, well, my mother was in the industry, but there's something there still that is quite admirable. I would say, right?
Yeah, totally. It was, but I've kind of always beat to my own drum. So I'm not the typical, like, need to get a job from 9 to 5 and like, I always kind of like to do my own thing and find my own way and become my own boss type of situation.
Yes.
I feel like I always knew that was going to happen, even though I wasn't planning on that. Like, I was planning on being like an OT or a therapist, or doing something like that is definitely more stable.
But deep down inside, you knew.
Yeah, but deep down, I definitely feel like I couldn't have it any other way at this point. And it's also just been really fun. Like, crazy stuff has happened along the way, and I definitely see like Hashem's hand like through the whole thing. And it's been really crazy to watch how.
Talk to me about that a bit, because one of the fascinating things to me about being an entrepreneur, being in business, is there's actually this Hayom Yom from the Lubavitcher Rebbe that talks about the fact that a business owner sees the hand of God in such a much more revealed way than somebody who, might sit and learn Torah, for example. And it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart. I see it every day of my life.
I was just talking about this. Yeah.
Yes. We're connected. Tell me.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's, you see crazy things happen, and you see crazy opportunities that come your way, and you realize that, like, just having one little conversation with one person can change your whole business. You don't even realize. And
can you give us some examples of times in your business where you've been like, oh my gosh, Hashem, I see you?
I mean, it's crazy because everyone always asks me, like, do you have PR? And I never hired PR. I've like interviewed and was almost going to hire, and I never actually hired PR. And they're just like, well, how do you get all these celebrities? And I'm like, I really feel like my PR is Hashem. Like, like it just
Oh, I
happened,
love
you
that.
know? I mean, maybe one day I will hire, so I'm not going to say it's always, but it's was crazy to watch how I didn't expect it when I started the business. I didn't have this like global vision. I kind of was just like, oh, I want to make this because I want it. And if it doesn't work out, great, because like I'll buy, like I'm gonna wear it and I love it. Um, Joyce has definitely trained me to have more of a global vision with things. But now that like, thank God this has been successful, I can have more global visions with anything that I do, because I feel like I kind of like put my foot in the door type of thing, So, but when I first started, with the Mazel ring, I like would come on every single day and like work so hard and post about it and be so excited about it and really try to make it cool. And at that point, it wasn't like the thing that people wanted. And which is a whole nother thing, because then when I see people copy me, there's like mixed emotions with that. But when it comes back to PR and things happening, it's unbelievable to see how people just started coming to me. Like Deborah Messing messaged me on Instagram, and Elal reached out that they wanted me to be an ambassador and give Miss Universe the official gift from the state of Israel when Miss Universe was hosted by Israel, hosted the Miss Universe contest in two years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And they asked me to like give the official gift to Miss Universe. So that was amazing. That was like the coolest thing. And I went when she landed in Israel and I gave her the Mazel ring. And it was just like such an amazing feeling. I was like standing there just thinking to myself, okay, I'm a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. And I am giving Miss Universe, who represents the universe, to give a ring that says Am Yisrael Chai, like the nation of Israel lives. It's just like the craziest feeling. So that was really cool. And there were all these moments, I think, because I infused my like pride in Judaism in everything that I do, and I still do. And my emunah, my bitachon, Hashem like has given me all these cute little like winks and prizes, helpful, things along the way. And when, Gal Gadot happened, I didn't even know that was happening. That was crazy.
Wait, what was that? Tell us that story.
Somebody just gave her the necklace. She was wearing the necklace. It's actually Noah Tishby. Noah Tishby was with her, and Gal Gadot's like, what is that necklace? Like, I want it. And she gave it to her and then took a picture and posted it on her Instagram. I didn't even know it was happening. And so it's like all these crazy things that happen. And I was literally at dinner sitting there and my phone was like blowing up and I'm like, oh my God. So that was crazy. And I think also just, it's funny because like when I first started doing the business, obviously you have like, I invested my own money and I was, even my parents were like, you're going to invest so much to make this ring. How do you know anyone's going to buy it? Like, it's not that cool. It's not that great. Like, like, I don't know. It's a thing. And I don't know if people are going to buy it, blah, blah, blah. And they're very proud Jews, but now that my mom is like the biggest Mazel person, but back then it wasn't like the thing to wear. It really wasn't. Like I kind of really worked very hard for it to become.
You created the trend, Rachie.
Yeah.
You did.
So I remember even with my jewelers, I was like so nervous to order 10 rings, like I was so nervous. I was like, oh, but it's so expensive. And I don't know. And they were always pushing me. And my jewelers were always like, come on, like you have to have more faith in yourself. Like you got to do it. You got to do it. And I feel like I was lucky to have amazing people that I work with that really also like had faith in me and trusted me. And we worked together to create this. And even when I always talk to them and they like reminisce about the beginning and they're like, who would have thought? Like, this is crazy how you came to 47th Street. I didn't really have any connections on 47th Street. And I don't know anyone who's listening, 47th Street's just the Diamond District in Manhattan is just like the craziest place ever. And my mom was in the business years ago and I used completely different people than she did and contacts. So I really felt like I walked onto 47th Street as this like complete stranger and just things
Hashem help me.
Yeah, like somebody reached out to me. There are people that I kind of like walked into and kind of it just happened, but my biggest manufacturer, like who manufactures the most bulk of my jewelry, actually reached out to me on Instagram. And because I answered that Instagram account, he had just started, like he was brand new, and he
Huh.
was like, had faith in me. And I was like, I went to his office and we met, and it was like a little hole in the wall. Like literally you couldn't even sit in the office. And like that's how it happened. It was just crazy. So, you know, like it's sometimes you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, if I didn't take that opportunity, if I didn't answer that call or that message, you don't know what could have happened or what wouldn't happen. So that was crazy. And yeah, definitely feel like I made a name for myself in 47th Street, which I think I'm the most proud of that, because usually there's so many people that want to start businesses, and you know, that some are successful, some are not. And you kind of, if you're not like born into it and you don't have
Right.
somebody like showing you the way, which I didn't really have that at all. Again, because first of all, I also have an online business. It's totally different than what my mom was doing. And hers was like very high-end fashion jewelry, and mine is different, like a design. And it was just like, I think I wasn't scared, which was a big deal. I always had faith that it would work out. I didn't expect too much, and I kind of just
Mm,
let it ride and like see what happened.
I love that.
And because I feel like also in today's day and age, when people start companies, they're like, oh, but I just want to get to that point and that Instagram account that has like this amount of
Yeah.
followers and they sell this and everyone knows them. Like, how do I just jump from this place to that place in 2 seconds? You know, I didn't even think about that. Like, I just was
Yes.
like, I'm just going to start and take it day by day, and things grow. And you could have like a crazy break and overnight become that, or it could take 5 years or 10 years, you know, you don't know.
Right.
So I,
Yeah. And I think that starting point really holds people, but like people are very scared to start. It's almost like
yeah,
they get so attached to that end place that
yeah,
they can't take they can't stay in that place that you just beautifully described, where you were just like curious, like, oh, let's see what happens.
yeah, for sure.
Which is such a beautiful stage to be. And I think like in business, you always have to be like that. Like if you lose that sense of curiosity, it's like all of the fun is gone. If you know,
Exactly. It's so true. And I think because I had my Mazel collection as the core part of my company, it had so much meaning to me and it meant so
yeah,
much to me. And it was so mission driven that it, like, I felt like I had a mission, like I had a tunnel vision.
yeah,
Like, as
yeah,
many people as I can have Mazel jewelry, like that will make me so happy and proud. And like, yes, the money will be great if it comes or when it comes, but I really just want people to be proud Jews. You
yeah.
know, like, um, and it's
I love
been
that.
crazy. So,
I love that. And
and
that's
it's fun to see like my pictures, even like my first desk. It was just a desk. My whole office was like just one desk, you know,
Mhm.
and like just the little thing and the little thing on the desk, and everything was like perfect. And like now it's like every stage it grew and it grew and it grew. And it's just like crazy to watch, you know, it's really amazing.
As I hear you, I go back to I forgotten that we actually met at a Torah class, which is
I
crazy. Again, it's
know.
a testament to your
That was my
commitment.
first office where you
Oh
came,
my goodness.
the
That's
studio
that.
apartment.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember showing up at that Torah class. We have a mutual friend in common, my dear friend Margie
Yes,
Scherer.
who's my cousin.
Yes,
My
she is your
claim to
cousin.
fame. She's the best. Yeah,
So,
that's where I started. I had a studio apartment and I started in a desk in the apartment, and we started shipping from there. And then I moved into another one bedroom, and then I moved into a bigger space. Like it just kept, yeah, it's
so Rachel, you talked about the fact that you invested your own money into this project. You have whatever little runway or big run, whatever runway you had, you put into this.
yep.
Your parents
Whatever I
maybe
made from my other businesses, I put into this one.
and your parents maybe were a little skeptical at the beginning, like seriously, come on. But so talk to us a little bit. And yet you also mentioned like, you know, the money's going to come when it comes. Like this is mission driven, which is such a beautiful statement right then and there. Like go for the mission and the money will follow, kind
Mhm.
of thing. So important. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what was your upbringing like with regards to money, to making a livelihood? What were some of the lessons that you learned at home? Maybe some that you felt really served you in life, maybe some that you said, you know what, I could do without this. What are some things that stand out in your mind?
Interesting question. Um, so I've always been, like I said, like a numbers person. What people don't know about me, which I never talk about, I guess I'll talk about it now, is I love the stock market and I invest
Me
in the stock
too. Me
market.
too. Can
Yeah.
we stock market nerds together, please?
And nobody even knows that. And I have a whole nother life that I do every day and check and constantly like, sell, buy. I mean, I'm not selling and buying every day. I'm very into holding, but when things crash, I'll buy, like I'm very into that. And it's always been something that even me and my dad, it's a great, like my dad and I talk about it every day. So it's like something we'll call like, oh, did you see that? And people are just like, think of me as like, oh, this blonde girl, like who has a jewelry business, like, okay, she's just starting this little business to make a few dollars. Like, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, like I feel like a lot of times, maybe in my community that I grew up with, like everyone's trying to start something, which is incredible, but like, if it actually gets anywhere is very impressive for anyone.
Right.
So if it's like a matter of something to just keep yourself busy, or is it something that you actually really want to like make it a real business? Both are amazing. Like you should have both. I think having anything that keeps you busy is extremely important for your everyday mental health and just feeling fulfilled in your life. And money has nothing to do with it. I think if you have that drive of really creating something that's going to be big and you can grow and you can maybe one day sell it, or you can get investors. Like, I mean, there's a whole nother world to that. Right. But when I was starting my company, I wasn't thinking that at all. I mean, I was the sole investor. I wasn't thinking of like
exit strategy.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking of that. I don't know if this is that company for that. Maybe other companies that I start are for that. But I always knew that I always was, like I said, always thinking numbers like my grandfather was. And I always talk numbers with my dad. So I think it's very fun and it's exciting to say, okay, well, this month I did this in sales and this month I did this in sales. And I think this is why this and like, going through the numbers. I grew up always thinking of like ways that I can make money. And like I said before, just doing like anything to make money because I just thought it was fun, like it's just fun. I like working and I like making money. And I think it was just the way that I was raised. They didn't put so much pressure on us. I'm one of three girls. I'm the middle. It wasn't so much pressure to like be able to support yourself forever, but it was more pressure of do something that you love and that you can always have. And that was a very important thing. My grandfather was very into having a title. So he wanted all of his grandchildren to have titles. So because like a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher,
immigrant mentality, right?
Anything that you can like, if something doesn't work out, your business that you're starting, like you can always just get a job,
backup plan.
And he always said that, an education was so important because he always said like, for him, like the Nazis can take everything away from you, but they can't take away what's in your head. They can't take away your education. There were plenty of survivors that were doctors before and then survived and kept their profession, were able to work after, or whatever profession they had. And then there were plenty that just had to go into survival mode and do whatever they could. Like my grandfather who became a banker. He went to Cheder. He literally only spoke Yiddish until he went to school till he was 9. He ended up owning a bank in Argentina and in Israel. And he then went into, he had a dog bone factory. He had a cosmetic business. He was selling like creams and lotions all over Latin America. He did furniture, denim, he was a Sony distributor, olive oil, like he did everything. And it was fascinating. His movie and his book his life is a movie or a book. It's like crazy. So
maybe you need to write it, Rachie.
I know. I definitely need to do that. So I just think that as growing up, my parents were always like more of just like, oh, maybe go to law school or maybe become a social worker or maybe become a therapist or become an OT. Like that was like very much in their realm of thinking, like very conservative, like do something that like you're guaranteed a certain salary and you can always fall back on it. And if you want to decide to stop working for a few years, you can always go back and get a job, like that type of work. But they were very supportive also if I wanted to start something, obviously like to give it a go. And if it didn't work out, then figure something else out.
Right.
But my older sister is very much the opposite of me in terms of like right when she graduated college, she got a job like in marketing, and like that was like she had a corporate job for forever. You know, she was always that corporate person that like needed that stability and that.
Right.
And she's also she's a genius and very creative and amazing. I'm not saying also because I'm not calling myself a genius, but she is. I'm saying she is also happens to be a genius. And she ended up getting her MBA. Again, like we're very into that title. And then you know, but I never had a corporate job. So she always tells me, she's like, you don't even know what it's like to really have a job and to really work for, like have a boss and do all that HR and all that annoying stuff and have to take
Good
sick
for
days
you,
and have to take
Rachie.
vacation. And then yeah, I'm happy I never had that. But I definitely feel like, yeah, I don't think I would have lasted a minute. I'm still like not, but
I've been there. That's why I'm gone.
If this didn't work out, I'd be happy to get a job somewhere. You know, it's not like I'm not like, I don't have an aversion to it. I just think that it just wasn't in the cards for me. And I was just always hustling. Because I was never just like chilling and not doing anything. Like I was literally baking all day and teaching in the afternoon and going to school at night. I got my master's at night, and then I had to teach at a preschool. So I was teaching at Chabad, and like I was teaching all over.
Wait, which Chabad were you? Were you in the Upper East Side?
Yeah.
You know that I used to also teach.
No way.
I'm telling you, Rachie, we've crossed paths so many times. I once heard you on
It's
another
such a
podcast. I was like, whoa, Rachie Shnay and I have like literally like lived like parallel lives. It's so weird. Yeah, I used to
And you're
work.
from Venezuela, right?
No, I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Yeah, yes. I'm loving everything that I'm hearing. It's just,
Yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place right now. There's so much to say. But
no. This is
in terms of money, growing up with them, with like how I view money, what I think is the most liberating thing about running your own business is that you have your own money and you can spend your own money. And whether that be if you're still, you know, like being supported by your parents, or if you have a husband who's watching everything that you spend, it's so nice. And my parents always said that too. Like, it's so nice to have your own something. So,
Yes.
you know, like it's just very, very nice to have that. So you never have to rely or ask anyone. You know, like if you want to buy this or that, or you want to donate money, you want to give tzedakah, you want to, whatever it is that you want to do with your finances, it's amazing as a woman to have your own income, or, you know, your own source or whatever.
That financial autonomy, I think is very important.
Not have, and I feel like because I'm that entrepreneur style, like I can't be under that like watch guard of spending. And obviously when you're married and you know, like there's compromise and you can't like,
obviously
like there's all that going on, but it is very nice to be like, okay, like I work and this is my job and I have a right to spend this amount on this that I want to do or give or whatever. It is very, very nice. So I feel like that's been the most liberating thing for me.
I love that point, actually. Very few people talk about that financial autonomy. I think it's so important. And it's actually quite surprising that you, coming from this Latin background, actually, that was something that was cultivated, because we often see the opposite, unfortunately, as much as I love being Latin and everything else. And speaking of that, are there any, because it was very surprising. I didn't know that you also have a math brain. I could totally relate to that because I also have those two sides of my brain. I have an MBA. I'm a total creative, as you can all tell here. But is there, and you are fascinated by the stock market, which I am too. Are there any habits, Rachie, that you practice? Anything that you do regularly that you feel actually are helpful with your finance, that really have an impact on your finances, on your business? Like, walk me through some of those disciplines that you have, because you seem to also have a very disciplined side to you.
Okay, so there's a few things. I'm never cheap with service oriented things when it comes to business,
Ooh.
in terms of like what I pay my employees or whatever, you know, if it's like I'll always round up, or I'll always give a bonus, or I'll always, you know, like I don't think it's worth, I think when you have people that work for you that are so amazing, it's
Yes.
not worth being stingy about nickel and diming them. And I think it's very important to just like make people happy when they're working for you and make sure that they are happy. Um, that's one thing. Another thing is that's more for like consistent people that work for you, not so much like service, like, you know, hiring a PR firm that takes $30,000 from you and like you see nothing and you're just like, what the heck just happened? That is
Right.
something you need to just, you really need to think about that before you commit to something like that.
Yes. Good
As a
point.
business owner, you can get sucked into those things of like, oh, let me do your social media for X amount of money and I'm going to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
nothing happened from this and nothing was gained. And there's been plenty of times where I wouldn't say wasted because whatever had happened and it's meant to be, but I've spent money on certain photo shoots or things where I'm just like, I didn't get anything out of that, you know? So you do
Mm.
have to think about those certain service oriented business things that really, in the end
You
of the
want an ROI for sure.
yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the other thing that I love that I always think about is that I always say to myself, no one ever gets poor by giving. So for me, like giving tzedakah is a huge part of my company and I'm giving constantly, like, especially since October 7th, insane amount and a good, like, just like of the sale percentage of the sales have gone to tzedakah. And it's so incredible. It's such an incredible feeling. And it's so liberating, like I said before, because I don't need to ask anyone. I can do whatever I want. It's my business. It's my money. I can give whatever I, you know, there's no one watching me. And it's the best feeling if, you know, you see something, you see a need, you see an Instagram post of this person and this unit in Israel, or this, the victim's family, like anything. And it's just like, give, like, and everywhere. And that to me has been my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to feel like I'm actually making a difference in with my business and my company, and to give and to help and to support. So I love that I can do that and not have to ask any permission before I do
Yeah, no, I
it.
hear you. It's so wonderful. And just hearing you, the word that comes to mind is Rachie has such an abundance mindset, right? Like it's pay your people who work for you, pay them well, like give them extra, treat them well. And yeah, give generously from what you're making
Yes,
in the
yes.
business. Like it's all
And
flowing.
that's definitely something in my family. Like that's like my grandfather, that's my father. Like they always, that's their mentality too. They're very generous. They're not stingy. They don't nickel dime what the things that are important.
Right.
I grew up very nickel diming, like, oh, we have a coupon to CVS. Like, do not forget to use that. Like, you have to use that when you go to CVS. But like at the same time, like somebody who's working for you, like if they want something, give it. Like, you know, like it's we save in the places that are very easy
Um,
to save in, and then we really try to like, you know,
where it matters. So you
I also
spend
grew
where
up
it
like we
matters.
don't waste anything. Like I can't even like leave ketchup on my plate. Like Holocaust survivor family, it's like if the tissues are a little cheaper at Costco, like you buy them at Costco, you do not buy, you know, like we're very into like saving. I've never been allowed to take anything from a mini bar in any hotel in my life. Never, 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 never. You could be in the nicest hotel in the world, having a great, like, you know, beautiful vacation. Never take, not a water bottle. If you're choking, no water from the mini bar. Like it's never allowed. Never, never, never.
Totally
And I
relate.
can't even, it's like, you know, it's like, it's almost as if it's not kosher, like it's off limits. Like you know, you see like candy and it's right there on the table, or you see like waters and sodas and whatever. I don't even think think about it. So
Right.
it's,
And here you're splurging on a beautiful vacation because that
yeah,
the
but that's,
experience really matters. That's where
yeah.
the money should go.
So
Yes.
that's how I was raised. Like, you know, like save up for the things, the experiences, but do not waste on stupidity. Like, you know, like when
I'm
you
with
can,
you.
like the first stop my family always made going to a hotel was like a supermarket, and we bought cases of water and we would bring them with us. Like, and we would always ask the housekeeper, like, can you give us extra waters? You know, when they're cleaning the room and they give like 2 free waters, like we're like, can we just take some more? Like we need more. We're very into hydration.
So,
We drink a lot of water in my
so
family.
familiar here.
So it's just like the mentality is so funny. And I I relate so much and I talk so much with other survivor families, and they're very, very similar. Like my grandfather was also that type, like he was living large and he was very successful, thank God. But like if there was like a lounge with free food, he wasn't going out for dinner. Like he was only eating that free food, like there's no such thing as like spending money on unnecessary things.
Mhm.
So that's how I was raised.
Yes. Yes. And you have you have that abundance, but you know where it matters. You think
Yeah.
about where it matters. It's so, yeah, no, it's so good. I could totally relate. So Rachie, we've talked about all the beautiful things happening in your business, those moments where you saw, you've seen the hand of Hashem. You did mention at some point, there have been challenges. Any challenges, any of those learning experiences that you look back and you say, you know what, that was challenging, and this is where it took me. I'm sure you're grateful for it in some ways, but anything that you can highlight, because it's not all roses, right? For
Oh
anybody
yeah,
who's
no.
listening,
So there are
right?
definitely moments where like sales are down and you're just like, all right, let's just see what happens. Like there
There
was
you go. The curiosity again. Let's see where Hashem's taking
yeah,
this.
like let's just see what happens. I'm not like doomsday. Oh my God, like this is the worst thing to ever happen. Every business ebbs and flows. Like there are going to be weeks or months that things are down or and up. And
Right.
I think you just have to like have that amuna and faith. And like if this is meant to be successful. Also remembering that every Rosh Hashanah, like Hashem sets out exactly what you're supposed to make that for that year. So not getting petty and jealous or catty with with your competition and thinking that they're stealing business from you. Like, who cares? If they're meant to make that money, they were supposed to make that money. If I was making that money, I'm like, I don't need to be like trying to get clients away from other like, I'm not like that at all. So
Right.
I know most other people in my industry are very much like that. And I'm very happy to be above it and not get involved with any of that petty craziness that people like to do. And if they can copy me and I'm whatever, what am I going to do? Like that's just how it is.
Yeah, funny. I talked about it on Instagram, I think yesterday, or maybe it was this morning. I don't even know when the post went out because I don't manage those posts. I just approve them. But yeah, we were talking about that there is actually no competition in the world that Rachie and I live in that state of bitachon. It doesn't exist. Like nobody can touch it. Nobody can touch it.
It doesn't exist. And I feel like when you really fully believe that and you like your whole heart is like, okay, what's meant to come to me will come to me. You kind of just smile thing. Like,
yes.
Of course, like the first time you see something, you're like, oh, and you get stressed and you're like, but then you have to be like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. You smile and you're like, okay, it's fine. And a lot of times, when I've had those moments of like, okay, should I give this extra tzedakah right now, even though my sales are down, or should I, pay, give a little bit more to whoever works for me, or should I, like these things where the output, where you're like kind of contemplating the output. Almost every time I've just gone through with it and like given the donation or decided to pay my employee more or whatever it is, I hear the cha-ching, like it comes back. Like, it's just like,
Oh, good.
I feel like it's when you doubt it, you're bringing that negative energy into your like business sphere. But then when you're just like, you know what, it is what it is, and it's going to work out and it's going to be fine. Like I'm going to just keep going and keep, being me and knowing that everything's going to work out. And then when that happens and that moment happens, within a few hours, weeks, months,
Yes, I've
it's
seen
just
it.
going to come back to you and you're going to be like, oh, okay, like this is, it's great.
Because it's really living and running the business, knowing that it's not the business. Like it's not the business. Like the business is the stage for the show, the stage for the fun, right? For my talent to shine through. But really, it's all pouring from Hashem. So I'm just here to play the game and let it be a fun game and let it be a generous game. It's such a nicer way to work.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Totally. It's great. And like, even like, when you have a company, you're like obsessively checking your stats and your Shopify and your sales, like that's just normal. It's almost like the way people check Instagram. Like we're just like, it's just like very much like you're just not even, your brain is just doing it automatically. And there are some days where like, I'm like, oh, wow, like the number is that number. That's very low. And I'm just like, oh, and I move on, just like, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Take a bath, go to sleep, relax. And the next day you start again.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I want to end off with something I do with every guest on the show. I coronate them with what I call Jewish Money Matters, fill in the blanks. And this is the part of the show, Rachie, where I'm going to ask you an open-ended question and you'll finish it with, I'm going to tell you an open-ended statement and you'll finish it with whatever comes to mind. You're up for it?
Yeah, sure. Love it.
All right. So first off is when I give Meiser or tzedakah, I like to give to
There's so many. I don't know.
so many.
Um, I would say now Israel.
Yeah, yeah. Any particular causes? Are you like a Hatzalah person? Are you a Friends of the IDF person? Like, what's your all
Uh,
of them?
Stella, all different, even smaller ones. I like to give directly to
Yeah,
families.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
mikvah, and
Nice,
yeah, just a bunch of. So yeah,
nice, very nice. I'd love to make more money because
to give more. I don't want to sound like this. It's really true though. Like it really
it's
is
true.
how.
Yeah.
Or I would say to give and to grow, like
Mm,
to grow, whether that be in this business or in a different business. But the ultimate goal is really to just have fun and to be able to give while doing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. Something I wish I'd learned about money growing up is
It's all from Hashem. I don't think that was really always that I only really learned that more later on in life when I was studying bitachon.
so life-changing, right?
It's yeah, like listening to my daily bitachon and hearing over and over and over and over again.
Michael Safdie.
Yes, Michael Safdie
Michael
screaming in my
Safdie
ear,
every
I love
day,
you.
people. Every day. Love
Him
you,
screaming in
Michael.
my ear that you think it's you that made the money has nothing to do with you. You're stupid. You don't know anything.
We're
It's
the
all from
same.
Hashem. Like you can open the door and there could be $1 billion check in your face. Like nothing to do with you. You know. So it's like I wasn't raised with that. I was more raised with
Right.
like work hard and
Work.
work
Right.
hard and make money and work
Right.
hard and make
Work.
money and like if you're not working hard you're not making money. Like it's just like
Right.
that like it's too much of like you and
Yeah. Yeah.
like I had to separate myself from with it like it has nothing to do with me, it has to do with what God wants for me.
Yeah. I'm glad that I have a Michael Safdie groupie here because
Yeah.
like a lot of my friends are like, even Margie's like, no, 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 no. It's a little too rough for me. I'm like, no, I'm all in. I want to get the slam every day.
Cracks me up. Yeah.
Yeah, he cracks me up too. All right. Money, spiritual or physical?
Spiritual.
Nice. Something I splurge on unapologetically is
Um,
Maz Mazel Collection, people know.
it,
That should be
honestly,
mine.
right for me it's like Uber Eats, like ordering my lunch and dinner. And
Mm,
it's so expensive and it's so ridiculous, but like I don't and I just don't end up cooking and and then I'm like I can't believe how much it is and it's crazy, but
right, right.
I,
But you love your work so much that you
I
don't
have
stop.
to eat. Yeah, what? Yeah,
And you have to eat.
exactly.
My Uber Eats is my husband who knocks on my office door and
Yeah.
says, by the way, do you know that you still haven't eaten lunch?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Honey."
So that is definitely something that I unnecessarily splurge on because like I could even go downstairs and walk a few blocks and get something and I just get lazy and I'm like I just don't want to leave my desk and my way.
I think I know the answer to this one. Rachie, spender or saver?
Saver.
Yeah, investor actually.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I would. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I say like I kind of stuck with the way that I was raised. Like I save in the ways that I can. But actually my parents would like be horrified by how much I spend on Uber Eats. But I I think I splurge in the way I give.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely treat myself, but it's not like I'm not like the type of person that walks into a store and like buys a Chanel bag. Like I don't,
Right. Yeah.
that's more
Yeah.
of like something that like maybe my mom will gift me with something, but like I'm not the type to just go and do that. Um, it's like a special occasion situation. But I'm more into like the investment splurges, like you said, like whether that be like in an apartment or like in something that you can actually grow, or investing my money in the stock market or in investing in somebody else's business. Like I'm more of that.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather, yeah.
I hear you. By the way, when did you start investing? And like your father taught you early on. When did you start? I'm so curious. I
Yeah,
started
I
very
kind of,
early on.
yeah, probably like 5 years when I was starting my business, I think, and
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
took control and like wanted to actually know what was happening and do it and be more like very hands-on.
Well,
Um, and my dad and I do not agree on most things when it comes to, we have the complete opposite minds with business. So it's funny because like I'll say like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, and he's like, you're crazy, like like don't do that, and I do it, and then like if it works out, my mom's always like, you should have listened to Rachie, she knows that, like it's always
that
like this
is
back and forth.
so funny.
So yeah, because I remember like in 2020 when everything crashed,
Yeah.
it's just simple. Whatever goes down must come up, like
It's a
it's like
sale, people.
so I did buy in certain stocks that like really crashed and that were big, well-known stocks. And I think at that point, like some people were like still in the doomsday fear of like, it's only going to get worse and it's only going to get
Mhm.
worse. And eventually,
Mhm.
if you have that freedom to be able to like invest in something and let it sit for a little bit, which you can do with any amount of money, it doesn't have to be a big amount.
Yeah.
It's nice to like open it up a little bit later and be like, oh, wow, like that.
Yeah. I think that's an important point right there that
Yes, you can invest
yeah, I
any
always
amount.
say, yes, I always say you don't need to be wealthy to invest, but you need to invest to be wealthy,
I love that.
right? Yeah.
You also have
Yeah.
to have patience.
100%. Time is the biggest factor.
Mhm.
Time is the biggest factor.
Unless you're like a day trader, but
No,
that's
no,
different. So it's
no,
it's just like
no, not for me. Not for me. All right. Today I'm most grateful for
my health.
Baruch Hashem. And finally, I'm Rachie Shnay, and I believe Jewish money matters because
We all have to help each other out and we all have to be there for each other. Whether that be helping someone who is in a situation that needs money or helping someone start a business or supporting another business. So I'm
yeah.
all about like keeping the circle moving. Like everything has to be like constantly flowing. And if you are blessed from Hashem to have to make a good amount of money one year, like pay it forward, help someone with their business, like invest in someone's business, buy people, please purchase things for full price when you are supporting a business. Like do not keep asking for sales. Like my friend and I, who she has a clothing company, we were just talking about it. Like it is so nice when someone's like, I want to support you, I'm going to buy something, and they don't ask to not pay tax, which is not a thing. Okay, stop
Oh my
asking that.
gosh. Stop
They don't,
asking that.
they don't ask to have a big discount, friends and family. They don't just, they do it because they're like, you work so hard and I see you working morning, noon, and night, and it's your company, and it's there's struggles and there's hardships, and I want to buy something to support you and I'm going to pay full price. Like that is such a nice, beautiful gesture that I don't understand why more people just can't do.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
But I'm
Rachie.
very happy to give discounts. Like I love giving discounts to my friends and family and people who really ask and like will message me and say like I am struggling, whatever it is. Now that this is on a podcast, great, because I'm sure everyone's gonna ask. Like I really try to like help people, and I want people to like have beautiful things and especially Mazel, and I want them to feel that they can have it. And so I really try to work with people and have payment plans and do all that stuff. And I think that that's beautiful, and I think it's amazing if you want to support someone. So if you're going to support someone and get it on for a great deal or wait for the sale, then like tell people about it and like wear it, be
Right.
proud about it and post it, and just like always be supportive and always try to like keep it moving and
Share the wealth.
yeah, like
Share the wealth. Yes, yes. Rachie Shnay, you're unbelievable. This was a beautiful conversation. Tell us where we can find you, where we can buy ourselves some bling, some Mazel Collection pieces, and more. Tell us all the deets.
because rachieshnay.com, Mazel Collection, and everything else we do, tennis necklaces and every fashion type of jewelry.
The watch. I love the watch. I love the Mazel watch. Are you about to show it to me? Oh,
All three, right?
obsessed, obsessed.
So I didn't even announce this anywhere, but we came out with a line of watches that are not Mazel, but they kind of look like this, a little bit different, all different colors, and they all have different quotes and everything. We're launching with Nordstrom's in March.
And I remember being a little bit eavesdropping on those conversations
Yes.
when I was in Florida.
So that
So I'm very excited that that
yeah,
is
and then
going
you
through.
can also find me at thehealerscollection.com, which is an incredible company and really is making incredible changes. Also sold at Nordstrom's. That is really wow. That's been a fun ride, and to see how I love how like between the Mazel Collection and the Healers Collection, I get so many incredible stories and feedback of people that are just really changing their lives. So that to me is like the best part.
I said it earlier today, Rachel. You really are a ray of sunshine.
Oh, thank you.
You really are. And I'm so happy that we got to record this, we got to connect, and really so proud of everything that you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you. I also have to say, I have to give Hakarata Tov to you, Yael, because you are the podcast interviewer, and the interviewer deserves even more than the interviewee. And you are here to connect people and to share everyone's business and brains and anything that they have to offer. You're here to help them and support them. And just like what I was saying before, we need more people like you. We need more strong Jewish proud women who love talking about business and money and financial autonomy and all of those things that you're talking about, and being able to stand on your own 2 feet and not rely on other people. And it's just been so amazing to follow you and to listen to your podcast and to read your emails, which I love.
Thank
and
you.
love your emails. They're just fun and creative, and I always need to see what it says. So that means it's working, the title's working, the subject line. And
I write them myself, people. I don't outsource
best.
that part of my business.
Best. Sometimes outsourcing does not work. That's what I said. You just got to do it. But I just think it's incredible. And I think that you are amazing, and Hashem should bless you with so much success in everything you do, and you should continue to be a connector while receiving everything that you dream of.
Amen. Thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you, Rachie Shnay. I look forward to meeting in person next time. Please, God, very soon.
Thank you.